Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I hope you're spending this time with family and friends and having a good time. Thank you so much for watching my videos this year. I started on my channel just in August, which feels like a million years ago, but it wasn't so long ago. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this sort of video, please don't forget to subscribe so you can see more from my channel. Today, I decided to build a 1950s inspired house. I've always seen like those Christmas movies from the 1950s or just like houses or pictures of houses in the 1950s decorated with Christmas stuff. And I just think they look so pretty. Mid-century furniture is also super nice because it's like well made with like really nice furniture or like wood. And so I've always wanted to live in a house like this or celebrate Christmas in a house like this. And so that's what I decided to do here for you guys today. I actually got this floor plan from like a website with like 1950s floor plans. I assume this is how houses looked in like America for the most part. And yeah, I had a really fun time putting this together. The aesthetic of the 1950s is so specific. I don't know if you guys have watched Bewitched. It's a show where there's like a lady who's a witch in the 1950s. It's a slow show, not gonna lie. Like nowadays with everything, like the show feels pretty slow. But the aesthetic of the show really influenced what I built here today. I also had a lot of like Pinterest inspiration. I had Pinterest open while I was building this house, so just keep that in mind as I'm building this house right here. Originally, this house only had 2 or 1 restroom, and I decided to add a second one because I just felt like it was like a 3-bedroom house. I decided to add an ensuite. Like it just made sense in my brain to have like an ensuite bathroom for the big master bedroom. So as we step into the house, I realized like a lot of the 1950s houses had like tile as you enter and then tile in the kitchen and in the bathrooms, but in the common areas like dining and living and bedrooms, there was a lot of carpet. So you're gonna see that here, and I try to do it in fun colors as well, especially in the bedrooms. In here I did want to use green because I feel like it's a good color for Christmas. And I am using that brick wall from the garage. I just feel like I wanted to bring in, because in real life sometimes you would have like that exposed brick because it's adjacent to the building next door, and so that's what I wanted to do in this house as well. The wallpaper that I'm using here is from Life and Death, and I use it pretty much throughout the entire house. This flooring, I believe, is from For Rent. It's one of my favorites. I think it looks vintage. I think it looks good. I like it in this blue. It's not like overpowering. And then in the entryway, I realized that in 1950s houses that I saw, there weren't that many like statement like entryway areas. It was more just like a little table and some plants. And so that's what I decided to do here in the entrance of the house. As we step into the main room, I really wanted to put some curtains. Curtains were big in the 1950s. And so I put these curtains from the Desert Luxe kit. And then I decided to use this fireplace that is from Cottage Living. I am building this house in Cottage Living. I ended up moving it to Mount Komorebi because I just wanted it to be in the snow and for you to see this house like all warm and stuff in the snow. I decided to use this TB from the Basement Treasures kit, but I felt like it was too low, so I decided to put a table underneath and make it like stand up to the eye level of the sofas. This was actually how the TBs looked back in the day. They were like on these like stands and they were pretty boxy and heavy. Some of them were built in, but for the most part they looked like this, and I think it looks really cute, honestly. And then I thought I wasn't gonna have enough space for the Christmas tree, but I just moved some things around a little bit and I was able to fit it. This is from the holiday pack. I feel like everybody gets the holiday pack. And so there are some free stuff in there. Also, if you have seasons, I know you get a lot of like Christmas stuff with seasons as well, but I don't have seasons, so that's what we're dealing with this Christmas tree from the base game. And then I decided to use some sofas from Business and Hobbies. I think these are super cute and give very, very 50s. I wanted to match them because I feel like that's what they would actually do back in the day. I did see some mismatch of chairs and like sofas, but I also saw some of them that were the same. It's like when you go to like, what's it called? That store when you buy like rooms to go and they sell you like the whole set. I'm sure like people, that's what they were doing. I decided to use a frame over the fireplace from Strangerville. I had to remove the wall so that I could put it on the fireplace. If you don't remove the wall, then you can't put the frame over the fireplace. It's gonna go behind the wall. And then over on this side, for whatever reason, I felt like we needed some books, like a library or something. So I just put some books here from the Book Nook kit to add something else in this room. And then I felt like this little hallway area felt a little lonely. So I decided to add a record player, which also makes sense for the 1950s. You know, they would be playing records in their houses. As we step into the dining room, I felt like this room felt very dull, and maybe it was the carpet or maybe it was the wallpaper. I decided to change the carpet to this darker blue-gray and to change some of the wallpaper to this paneling that is from Business and Hobbies. I use this paneling throughout the house, and I think it helps to bring some warmth. I also saw when I was like looking up pictures on Pinterest that when they had tables like this, they wouldn't do like 2 and 2 together. They would put like one chair in like every corner of the table, which it's kind of weird, but I don't know. I guess they didn't want to make anyone feel less than any other person. So that's what I was imitating here. And then I put a couple of art pieces from Cottage Living and from Base Game. And then these high school years like cabinets saved my life because I feel like high school years screams 1950s, like mid-century. And so these cabinets, I decided to put 2 of them together, and then I just added some boxes in here, some plates, some bowls, and then I decided to put these like little lovebirds from Lovestruck. Another thing that I saw a lot as well from the pictures of dining rooms in 1950s was like they had like chairs on the side in case they had like guests over and they would, I guess, bring the table or the chair to the table. I saw that in a couple of pictures, so I wanted to replicate that here. I also saw that a lot of the kitchens in the 1950s were like brightly colored, and I wanted to have that here as well. A lot of the ones that I saw were yellow, and I just felt like that looks so pretty, so I wanted to have that in here as well. I'm using these cabinets that are from Dream Home Decorator. I would say Dream Home Decorator is another great pack if you're trying to build with like 1950s inspired stuff. And then I'm using some clutter from I think this is from the Artist Studio kit. And then I put a radio as well because I feel like it makes sense in the kitchen you would have a radio. Another thing that I saw in one of the pictures that I found was like a little table in the kitchen. And so I decided to add this one. I think the chairs are from high school years and the table is from Snowy Escape as well. And then I found this yellow flooring similar to the blue one that we've been putting, so I decided to put it in the kitchen. Over on this side in the floor plan, this was a laundry room, and so I decided to keep the laundry room in this house to make it like super cute. So that's what I did here. I decided to add these hangers outside, and in the floor plan there was a door leading outside, which makes sense. I feel like if you're gonna be hanging clothes, you'd want to be close to the laundry room. And so I just added a sink in here. And another thing that I noticed in these like 1950s houses is that everything was very monochromatic, and there was a lot of like color blocking. So for example, they would pair like pink with green, or everything was blue, or blue and yellow. And so you'll see that carried out through this house, because that was like what was modern and popular. So the color blocking really was popular in the 1950s. And so now as we step into the bathroom, these big tiles, like square tiles, were also very popular in the 1950s. That's why also the flooring, the tiles are kind of like squares, and that's why I decided to use them. But these like square bright tiles were super popular. This is like spot on 1950s. And then I just decided to use this tub shower combo that I think is from Base Game, and just some other items from Base Game here in the restroom. There's this like super long hallway where I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. This is sort of like just like a break room as you step into the bedrooms. And so I just added a chair here with a lamp and a mirror and a couple of plants in this room. I decided to use this wallpaper once again from Business and Hobbies. It's like this paneling in like a brown. And then the first room that I decided to do was like in pink. I love pink. I think it's awesome. And so I decided to use this wallpaper from Business and Hobbies, because another thing that I noticed was like patterned like wallpapers. And so I found this one from Business and Hobbies, and I was like, I'm just gonna use it because it's so pretty. I think it screams 1950s. So that's what I decided to use here. Then I was trying to figure out what bed to use, and I just ended up going with this one that I believe is from Dream Home Decorator. And then I found these curtains, which were also very 1950s. And once again, I'm using these cabinets for the dresser and the little side table that are from high school years. And I'm using a Base Game mirror to match the cabinet as well. I wanted everything in here to be like green and pink and like a blue, and I think we did a pretty good job at like putting this bedroom together with like what we had. We also had to keep in mind that things couldn't be too modern because it wouldn't make sense for a 1950s house. I wasn't trying to do like 1950s now. Like I was trying to keep it accurate to the time. Like I was gonna casually put a cell phone in here and pretend like tell you guys like maybe one of them was a time traveler or something, but I decided not to do that and just embrace the 1950s. In this next bedroom, I decided to put bunk beds, and these beds are actually from Strangerville, which are super strange beds, but some of the beds that I saw as well in the pictures from Pinterest didn't have like backs, like headboards. And so I saw these and I was like, I think I could make these work. And then I just am using again that cabinet from high school years in the middle of both. For whatever reason, I decided to use fireplaces in all of these bedrooms. I imagine that if they were in a cold weathered area, they'd want to be warm. And so that's what I decided to put in here. I give them a guitar and a little stool, like a couple of little stools from Businesses and Hobbies. And now as we step into the parents' bedroom, I always say parents, but like it's the main bedroom. It could be like the kids have the main bedroom. You never know. So as we step into the main bathroom, I decided to make like this huge restroom. I'm using once again this wallpaper that is the same one that we used in the other one, but this one's in white. And then I'm using the same flooring that I've used throughout the rest of the house, but in this other like red color. And I used yellow accents as well. And then I'm using a bathtub that I believe is from Base Game. So this is just like a very simple bathroom for the parents of the house. Again, the parents, we don't really know who lives here. Or it could be just a single parent. We don't know. But yeah, this is what I created for the main bathroom ensuite. Yeah, and then as we step into the main bedroom, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I had seen color stories between like purple and red, and then I for some reason started with this red carpet, and then I didn't like it. I just hated it. And so I decided to change it. You can see me here playing around with all sorts of like wallpapers, and then I bring in the fireplace. It doesn't make sense, the fireplace either. So I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna start furnishing this place because nothing is making sense. I decided to use these curtains again from the Desert Luxe kit. I don't know, I just felt like in the kids' bedroom there wasn't like enough space to use those curtains, and I saw a lot of curtains like the ones that I used in the other two bedrooms as well in the pictures. And then in here, I just decided to use this bed from Dream Home Decorator, or is it from Snowy Escape? I actually don't know, maybe Snowy Escape. And I changed the colors around. I made this bedroom a lot more calm. The wallpaper, once again, is from Business and Hobbies. And then I decided to make it white and the rug or the flooring to make it green. I was trying to make my own vanity, so I decided to use this desk from Business and Hobbies, and again, these end tables that are from high school years, and I just added some clutter in here for like makeup and stuff like that. I need to get a pack with a vanity, but this is a good way to do it. I'm sure there's many other ways you can make a vanity with just base game. And then I found a lot of the chairs and stools from Business and Hobbies to have this same wall pattern that I had in here, which worked a lot in my favor. So yeah, guys, this is the house that I've created. Here you can see I've moved it into Mount Kamarabi with the cold. As we step in, you'll have a really warm 1950s house. I'm in love with this house. I want to spend a winter here. And yeah, celebrate Christmas and open all the presents and stuff. I don't think going into the pool would be very fun, but where we built it in the other lot, it made sense to have a pool. And then the laundry room is so cute as well. And the first bathroom, and then we have this like long hallway as we exit into the bedrooms area. I really like this like color contrast of like blue and yellow. Obviously blue and yellow are complementary colors, but I think like the contrast between them in this restroom really helps. I also really like this pink bedroom. It's super cute. And then we have a couple of beds in the next room with like, again, that blue and yellow contrast, which just makes me so happy to see. Very, very simple, not a lot going on. And then as we step into the main bedroom, we step into the bathroom, which is huge. Honestly, you could fit a whole bedroom in this bathroom. And then we step into the rest of the bedroom, and we see this bed with the matching like chair. Oh, and then I made a little a little garage room with a lot of the Basement Treasure stuff because I felt like we needed to put something in there. So that's the house. This is the house at night. Thank you so much for watching. Happy holidays. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.